James Fletcher from On3. You've been kind of a pioneer in the transfer portal, and with so many mid-major stars coming to the high major level and having to translate that into being the top scorer on their new team, what are some of the traits that you look for in those guys where you know they're going to be able to make that jump and contribute in the way you need?
I mean, I think the one thing with the transfers is there's a body of work against other Division I players. There's a statistical analysis, so to speak, that goes into it. There's the eye test that goes into it, and then certainly there's communication, with getting feedback from people that have played against that particular player, or maybe the program that they're leaving. So I think there's a lot that goes into it. Obviously any transfer has more experience than an incoming freshman, so that can change the maturity level, the ability to pick up schemes, both offensively, defensively. So I guess that's kind of an all-encompassing of a transfer recruiting in a minute.
Ben Roberts, Lexington Herald Leader. You've obviously had a lot of experience with the transfers. You had a lot of really good high school freshman recruits last season. Is there, I guess, what's the difference? Is one way better than the other, or is one way easier than the other from your standpoint?
I don't think so, because I think, Ben, that every team is different. You know what I mean? The nucleus of the team. Last year 6 freshmen is, I probably. It's a little much for me, for sure. But to have 3 players be one and dones and 3 draft picks, that does a great deal of, positive stuff in the recruiting world, for sure. You always want your players to reach their dreams as quick as possible, and to have 3 guys basically be with us for 8 months is really cool to see. But certainly from a continuity standpoint, I don't know if there's much continuity in college basketball, let alone college football, with a player either transferring or being a one and done. So I don't think there's a right way or a wrong way. I thought our freshmen last year developed, and we go from 10th in the SEC to growing with each game, and then it's a team that upsets Kansas and plays in a Sweet 16, and it was because that group got better. And I think that there is a lot of upside for freshmen to grow over the course of a 30-game college season, and it's cool for a coaching staff to be a part of a player's growth and be with guys that still haven't reached their max or their upside.
Eric, Bob Holtz, Arkansas Democrat Gazette.
Really?
You're supposed to identify yourself. Just trying to do a crowd call. Greg's
Thanks,
here.
Bob.
But it's your 5th year in the league, and it's been good for a long time. But some years it tend to be a little top heavy. This year, or really in recent years, seems like there's a lot of balance. Some of the coaches have said they think it's the best it's ever been since they've been around. What's your take on the league going into your 5th year, just as a whole, and then you're getting ready to add Oklahoma and Texas too?
Yeah, I think that this league, I think everybody, everybody knows about the SEC football-wise. Baseball and basketball, in my eyes, is underrated, even though people talk about it being one of the top 2 conferences from a basketball perspective. If you look at the coaches in the league, if you look at the talent level, if you look at the number of draft picks, I mean, I truly believe this is the premier basketball conference right now. Looking at the league compared to, the small portion size that I have of 4 years, I think the league's is good, probably better than any year since I've been in it. The coaching continues to get better and better each year, and certainly when you look 12 months from now at adding Oklahoma and Texas, the league is going to be even stronger. So really competitive league. It's hard. It's a challenge every night.
Coach, we saw him really starting to establish himself before he got injured early last year. But talk about how much better Trevon Brazile can be. And I know he would have been a huge factor for you if he had been healthy all year a year ago.
Yeah, first of all, he's done an incredible job with his rehab, as has our team doctors and our trainer. He's been a little bit ahead of schedule with everything, but we've been really, really patient with him, and we'll continue to be patient with, Trevin, even on Friday when we have our first exhibition game. He'll be ready for the first game as long as everything continues to progress as it has. But he, in my opinion, when he got hurt, I thought he was one of the best players in the league, which if you're one of the best players in the SEC, you're probably one of the best players in the country. Real tribute to our team because we had spent the majority of the summer building around him and his versatility. And to have him go down when he did and then be able to kind of recalibrate who we were from an identity standpoint, I thought it was a real tribute to the other guys because we had people step up and when he went down, we didn't make excuses internally, but he's headed to have a great year for sure and has an incredibly bright future beyond college as well.
Hey, Eric, Jared Redding, Inside the Rebels on 24/7 Sports. Obviously, Chris Beard was here this morning, and he briefly shared just y'all's history of facing each other when you were at Nevada, and he was at Texas Tech.
We didn't get a very good whistle at Tech.
Just knowing him, what do you feel like he kind of brings to the conference, and what is kind of the common denominator among the teams that that he's coached?
Well, Coach Beard's one of the best coaches in college basketball. Everywhere he goes, he wins. His teams play with great toughness. You better be able to get loose balls against his teams, and you have to figure out a way to score. Great defensive coach. Every team that we faced, which is, I don't know how many times, maybe 3 times now, an NCAA tournament, a game at Tech in Lubbock when I was at Nevada, and then an exhibition game last year. Schematically, he's really hard to prepare for. And, he's a guy that gets his guys to play with maximum effort.
Hey, Eric, Jordan Hill at Dogs 24/7. I want to ask you about R.J. Melendez, who's at Georgia now. You guys faced him when he was at Illinois, number 15. What do you remember about his game, what you guys saw against him in that NCAA tournament game?
Thanks, Jordan. I remember his number. He's just got great versatility. I think he'll fit Mike's system really well. He can play 3 positions, good defender, can score in transition, got good length. I think he's a player too that, based on his age and stuff, is set to really jump up and become a much more developed player than he has been. But he started on a team that was really good last year. Illinois, really talented team, and he was playing around some guys that were high-volume scorers, and I think he's going to probably have more of an opportunity with the ball in his hands to increase his scoring productivity from where it was last year with the Illini.
Any more questions? Here and then here.
Coach Curtis Wilkerson, PlugSports.com. You mentioned several times how Jalen Graham's practice habits have improved quite a bit over last year. I'm just curious, due to that, what parts of his game have been unlocked and maybe areas he's improved where he can make a bigger impact this year?
Yeah, I think, anyone that watched us play last year, Curtis understands that Jalen is a really, really talented offensive player. If you watched him at Arizona State, Coach Hurley went to him and used him as a go-to player, his second team all Pac-12. We want him to continue to evolve as a rebounder in traffic and to rebound outside of his area. Those are 2 areas that we look for growth from him and to be a little more aggressive in getting loose balls. I think the scoring, he's as hard to cover one-on-one as anybody in our league, both in the post, in mid-range, and facing up off the bounce. He's got a great spin game when he puts it on the deck. So it's those areas that I talked about will really determine where his role evolves moving forward.
Hey, Eric, Ryan Black with the Courier-Journal. There have been just a lot of questions today to the coaches about roster building in current college basketball, and everyone knows that the most successful teams in the past 6-7 years have been very experienced teams. Kentucky has 8 freshmen. Many of them are going to be counted on very heavily this year. Do you think that can be successful in today's college basketball, kind of leaning that heavily on? I mean, and granted, I understand they're extremely talented freshmen who many are projected to go in the NBA draft, but still, do you think that can be successful in today's?
I do. I really do. I think it depends on who those freshmen are, and again, I can just use our team. Last year, I mean, we started 3 freshmen. One of them was hurt, for a good portion of the season. If he's not injured, we probably have more wins than we did last year. If Brazil is playing with those 3 freshmen, maybe we have 5 to 6 more wins, to be honest with you, when you consider Nick Smith's talent. But yes, I mean, I think you can win. If we wouldn't have played UConn and we would have played some of the other teams that were still left in the tournament, we felt like coming off that Kansas win, even with the 3 freshmen starting, that we could have gone beyond the Sweet 16. So, and Coach Calipari, there's no one better at coaching younger players. There's no one better in the country, probably no one better in the history of college basketball coaching young guys. I don't think there's even a close second. And so, yes, I do think they can have great success, even though they are young, and because he's got lottery picks, and when you have lottery picks and first-round picks, you're gonna win games.
Hey, Eric, Kevin Skarbinski with the SEC blog. Obviously, every team's different, every tournament is different, but is there a thread that runs through the NCAA tournament success that you guys have had year after year the last 3 years?
I don't know, Kevin. I mean, I think that, number one, you've got to get better as the season progresses. Your team's got to be confident, if you, and which we have lost in the SEC tournament. How quickly can you rebound mentally? How can you build your confidence up internally, even though you might get eliminated? We haven't played in an SEC championship conference, so we've obviously been eliminated, but figured out a way to have success. And then I think there's an element of relaxation. There's an element of fun that has to happen. I mean, when we go to Buffalo, we go to Niagara Falls and get out of our hotel, and our players talk to other players and know that a lot of teams are stuck in their hotel room and go eat and go to the gym and then got to go play a game. And so whether we're in San Francisco and we're going to the Giants Stadium to walk around their field and talk about the history of Major League, I mean, we try to do some things that to alleviate some of the pressure, and then we talk about the pressure that it's going to be and how many eyes are on you, the amount of TV, that's the exposure. But we do that now. I mean, we're talking about it as early as we possibly can, so that when you get to March, you're not having those, conversations.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Thanks.